messy, and then you don't have you can't see, or I can't see your house, right? So you don't have to even clean. You don't have to do anything. So, oh, and it sounds like it's going to be another wound up day for the dogs. Okay. Oh, I need light, don't I? Need a little bit of light. Okay. All right. So, morning, YouTubers. Morning, Facebookers. Yeah, I know, right? Let's see what we got. So, I am trying to upgrade my little system here. If you don't live in Florida, you may not be following, but our cases are rising again. So I have no idea if they're going to keep the gym at all. Karma, please. Hey, go lay down. So I don't know what's going on with that. Just a little bit more light. Today I have my dogs. Hey, dogs. I have some props out, and you may or may not want them. Toward the end, I was thinking of opening up the chest a little bit, and we'll do some chest openers throughout the class, of course, so that you're good and warm for it. But that last one is going to be more relaxing at the end. So the props that I'm going to suggest, and you can use whatever you have, right? You could use a stack of books instead of a block. Same thing, right? You could use a rolled up mat, like if you have an extra yoga mat. You could use a towel. Towel's probably a little bit small, but maybe a pillow rolled up, right? Or if you have one of these itty-bitty foam rollers, that kind of idea. So improvise, right? It's great to have fancy equipment and all that sort of stuff. If you, like I say, always, if you could see what I've got going on with my technology here, you chuckle, because it isn't fancy, right? But yeah, you're home. It isn't like you have to bring your pillow to yoga class. You're there, right? So do what you can do. And if you don't want to prop, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal either way. Okay, I really need you to relax, though, please. So we're actually going to start reclining this morning. Is it time? Yes, it's time. So go ahead and lay back on your mat. And just make yourself comfortable. So if you prefer to have, if you've got the roller, you can always put that behind your knees. Sometimes that feels really nice. Or your rolled up towel. If you want your feet flat or your legs fully extended, you decide. You decide. So bring yourself to that place where you can just begin to really focus on what's going on in your body. And feel the alignment. Feel the alignment of your back against the mat. And feel the weight of your body into the floor. Begin to focus on your breath. And allow that breath to begin to deepen, to slow, and to even. So keeping your eyes closed, your mind nice and quiet here, those big, full breaths. If they're not already, bring the feet flat to the floor. Gently roll to the side. And make your way up to a seated position. Again, keeping the eyes closed and the mind focused. Nice full breath flowing here. Sitting well. And then extending the arms out to the sides. With the next inhale, stretch up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bring them back down again. We'll do that again. And then one more time. Inhale, come back up to the top. Exhale, roll right hand back to the floor. Give yourself a little tip over to that right side. Taking a nice big breath here. With the next inhale, we'll bring it back to center. And then take it over to the left. Inhale, come back up to the middle. One more time on each side like that. Let's open the side ribs a little bit deeper. Maybe draw the shoulder back a little more. And then back to the middle. Over to the left. And back up to the center. Exhale, releasing your arms. And then just bringing the hands to the knees. Inhale, the shoulder blades together on the back. Let your chest open and lift to the ceiling. Exhale, round your spine back. Tuck your tailbone, drop your chin. And then just follow your breath in and out of those two positions. Flowing through the spine. Take one more flow like that. And then find a center. So sitting up nice and tall. Go ahead and bring the left hand over to the right knee, the right hand back behind the body. Give yourself an easy little twist over to the right. Sit nice and tall here. Just let it be gentle to begin. And then release that side and come over to the left. So let's come back to center. Take it over to the right again. Work a little deeper into this one. Use your arms maybe a little bit more. Feeling even up the spine. Relax into your hips and your shoulders. And then let's come back to center and move to the second side. Same idea. Working evenly through your spine. Find tons of length. Take another nice big breath. And then release back to the middle again. Sorry about the chaos. Let's come around all fours. And then make your way into a down dog. So however you feel like getting there this morning, maybe move through a plank, maybe not so much. Just let yourself wiggle and stretch into it. And then from here, really just kind of sink in, right? So give yourself a great big backside stretch that we all know and love as our down dog. And briefly shift forward into a plank. So you can absolutely be on here, it's not fail. It's just to make sure the feet and the hands are the proper distance for your body, right? So lift your hips again.
And bring the right foot roughly halfway to your hands. So roughly. Let the toes turn out to the right. We're taking that foot flat to the floor. Left hand to the hip and open to the right side of your mat. So we're in this modified side plank. You can always have the left knee on the floor if you need. We want the head, shoulders, hips, and ankle in this nice long line. Or medium, that's where you're at. Take another big breath. And then we're going to release that back into our down dog. And we'll do the exact same thing to the second side. So if you feel like you need to shift into a back, then certainly take it. When you're ready, bringing the left foot halfway up. Let the toes turn out, roll to the outside edge of that back foot. The left hand is going to come to the hip. And again, modify this if you need a little bit of an assist. Nice long line. So you kind of look as if you were standing up, at least on the left side of your body. We're going to release that, coming back to the center. Go ahead and drop on down to the knees and sit back into a child's pose for just a moment. So just exploring with the body and waking it up and getting moving. And then we'll lift back to our down dog. From there, stepping the feet forward, let's come to standing fold. Taking just a second here, feet up underneath the hip bones, even on the feet. And then you can walk in place a little bit. So maybe just bend into one knee, press through the opposite heel, switching sides back and forth like that. And then find a center and bend both knees enough that your belly touches your thighs. We want the knees to stay pointing in the same direction as the toes, so try not to let them fall out or squeeze together. We're going to bring the arms behind the legs, wrapping around, and we're going to hug the belly in toward the thighs. Right? So keep squeezing that, but not the knees together. And then see if you can take your legs a little straighter. And maybe they will go straight and maybe they won't quite. Just find that little extra stretch here. Let your head hang. Get that nice stretch all the way up the spine. Hey, Bo. And then release the arms. You can have that little bend in your knees certainly here if you prefer. Let's go ahead and take hands to the lower back, interlacing the fingers. So the hands stretch away from the shoulders. See if you can feel your shoulders move away from your ears. So we're not just lifting them up off of the lower back. Okay. We don't want to crush the shoulders into the ears and lose our necks in any pose. Let's release the hands. And then slide the hands up to the thighs. And for now, take the legs straight. And it won't matter because we're going to bring the upper body parallel to the floor. All right? And you can lean on your legs as much as you need to lean to help support your back. But see if you can use your belly, right? Feel the hamstrings squeeze to hold you here. So maybe you need to lean less. Right? If you're still leaning, it's fine, not a big deal. And then inhale, lift all the way up. So, coming to stand at the top of the mat. Let's inhale, stretch the arms out to the ceiling. And then exhale, take yourself over into a fold. Inhale, come halfway up. And then we'll exhale, stepping the right foot back into a lunge. So this first lunge, just let yourself kind of wiggle around a little bit. And then find a center and imagine drawing your legs toward each other. So the hips are really square here. We want to keep the hips level and start to the top of the mat. And we take the left leg straight. So this is a place where you can use a block, right? So if you have your hand a little block or your stack of books or whatever you have, or you can simply drop the right knee and modify that way. So lots of options. Again, find the stretch. Find the stretch of the hamstring without just rounding through your spine. Take another big breath. Go ahead and bend back into the knee. We're going to step back to our down dog. Shift forward, coming into that plank again. Drop to the knees if you'd like. Elbows tight to the sides. Let's come on down to the belly. And then the hands next to the side ribs. Hug those elbows toward each other. And just roll your shoulders. Super simple. Up by your ears, together on your back, down toward your hip bones. So the chest gently curls away from the floor. Release that. Press yourself up and back into the down dog. So then step the right foot forward and come to the lunge on the second side. Same idea over here. Just let yourself wiggle and stretch. Make the hips happy. And then find that center. So we're sweeping the legs toward each other to keep the hips really square and stable. Take the right leg straight. And again, modify here however you need to modify. We'll bend back into the knee and step forward into a fold. Halfway up with an inhale. Again, aiming if you need to lean. Come back over into your fold again. And then come all the way up, stretch to the ceiling. Exhale the arms at the top. So let's do it again. Inhale, lift. Exhale and fold. Halfway up with your inhale. And we're going to set the left foot back this time into our lunge. So knee down variation, prop with a block if that's where you need to be. Sweep the legs toward each other. Let's bring the right hand to the hip. And we're going to rotate the belly around toward the inner thigh. Imagine turning your right side ribs toward the ceiling. See if you can take this right shoulder back a little bit. So nice and even up through the spine. The hips want to get involved. And maybe the knee slides out, or this left hip droops a little bit, trying to really center with the lower body. And if the twist isn't big, who cares? Take another nice big breath. Come on back to center. Step back to your down dog. With an inhale, shift forward, come to plank. Remember knees if you need knees. Drop it on down. Roll into the shoulders like we did. Keep those elbows hugging in. Pull with your hands like you're going to pull your belly button to the top of your mat. Feel the space. If you want to press into the hands and come up a little bit higher, you can here. Make sure you're breathing and then release that back down. So up and back into your down dog. And then we'll step the left foot forward. So the toes all the way up. Take your time getting them. Sweep the legs together again here, really stabilizing the lower body. We'll bring the left hand to the hip and twist on this side. Same idea. Allow the twist to just be through the spine. Extending out the crown of the head, make sure you're breathing. And then release the twist. Step forward, fold. Come halfway up on an inhale. And back over. All the way up. Reach for the ceiling.
Exhale at the top. One more time. Let's inhale. And then fold. Halfway up. And again, that right foot back into our lunge. So knee down if you want, right? Certainly sweeping the legs together for our stability. This time climb up on the thigh. So the upper body comes vertical. That right knee wants to bend, but don't let it, right? It needs to bend, bring it to the floor, or just maybe not drop so deep into your lunge. So the hips are square, the belly's in. If the hands need to stay down, let them, or reach the arms up. Let's release that, bring the arms back down, and then step back down dog. Inhaling, shift forward in the plank. Exhale as you take it down. Remember knees if you need. Once you're there, hands next to the side ribs, roll, pull, maybe that little press. Maybe you press a little deeper. Keep the spine long. Releasing that, keep the elbows in, up and back into your down dog. And then step the right foot forward. So bring the toes up. Drop the left knee if you want. Stabilize the lower body and climb on up. Pressing through the heel, lifting the upper body, maybe lifting the arms. And then release the arms. We'll tap forward into fold. Come halfway up. Fold back over again. All the way up, reach the arms to the ceiling. And release at the top here. So let's go ahead and take a short step back with the right foot. All 10 toes are going to point forward here. So if you need to take your feet a little wider so you're not super wobbly, right? Ideally not wider than your hip bones, but if you need a little bit more stability, feel free, right? And then keeping the back heel on the floor, bend the left knee. Watch that the knee does not come in from the toes, keep it over the ankle. The hips are going to stay square. Okay? The hips are going to stay square throughout our standing poses. So as long as you're feeling pretty stable here, let's go ahead and extend the arms up toward the ceiling. And you can look up, again, unless that makes you super wobbly. And then from here, keep everything else, but take the fingers and interlace them behind your lower back. So just like we did earlier, draw the shoulder blades for each other, reach the knuckles toward the right heel. And yeah, it may lift up away from your lower back a little bit, but that idea of stretching away from the shoulders, away from the ears. Keep the chest open and lifted like it is here. And see about bringing your belly toward the left thigh. It doesn't have to touch. And you don't want to be centered on it. It should really be on the left side of your belly, right? Your hips are square, your upper body is square. The hands up off the lower back are not very much. Keep the idea of stretching away. And then see about slowly taking that left leg straighter. So again, listen to your body. If you need hands on the floor, if you need your block here, do you. Breathe. And then release the hands to either side of the foot here. So just a gentle, tiny bend into this left knee. If you're a hyperextender, you want to be careful of not hyperextending the knee, of course, right? And then from here, if the hands aren't on the floor, use your block, or maybe use your shin. And that's a little bit tricky with the balance sometimes, but of course we do what we need to do here. So bring the left hand to the hip. And you can use that left hand to kind of push the left hip back to help the hip stay square. From there, rotate the belly around toward the left. Then turning your side ribs toward the ceiling, draw the shoulder back. And turn the head again unless that bothers your neck or makes you too unstable.
And then release the twist. Cushion bend in the left knee for sure here, propping up on the block or whatever you need. We're gonna shift all the way into the left foot, lift the right toes up off the floor, maybe bring that leg hip height. You don't wanna go any higher because that'll cough the hip up, right? So really work to keep your hips square, stay with the hands on the floor if that's you, or maybe slide the hands up to your thigh. And one or both, lifting the upper body parallel to the floor as well. So then, of course, you can bring your hands center. You can fly your arms in any direction. Make sure you're breathing. And then we're going to release that all over into a fold. So let's take a little bend in the knees. On an inhale, we're going to roll the spine up, one vertebra at a time, until we're standing back at the top of the mat. All right, you ready for side B? Let's do it. Little step back with the left foot. And if you feel as if that left leg worked a lot harder than the right, maybe try to keep a little bit more even between the legs. Of course, until we're at warrior 3, which then it's mostly just the one. But the more you work the legs together, the less that one leg gets exhausted. So check out your toes. Plant your feet where you need them to be so you're not wobbling down. When you're ready, bend the right knee. Keep the hips square. Keep the shoulders square, and then reach the arms. So changing your gaze, again, is one of the last things that you think about, and if it destroys everything that you set up, forget it. Let's take the fingers interlace behind the back. Keep the chest open and lifted. Draw those shoulder blades a little closer together even. Stretch your knuckles back for that left heel. Feel the chest really open and lift. And then keep that idea as we bring the upper body forward. Again, maybe belly to thigh-ish. Stretching the knuckles away. And then taking the right leg straighter. So modify if you need to modify in any way. Make sure you're breathing, staying even on the feet, level through your hips. And then release the hands. The left hand is going to stay put. Prop if you need to prop, certainly. Let's bring the right hand to the hip, and we're going to rotate around into a twist. As even as you can up the spine, even on the feet. You can breathe here, right? Let's release the twist. Again, that little cushion bend in the knee, come up on the back toes, and then lift the left leg away from the floor. Don't worry about high. Hip high is really as high as you want to go anyway. So the hands stay down if you need them to. They climb up if that's you. Try to bring the upper body parallel to the floor as well. And then if you want to fly the arms, fly the arms. You're going to feel a wiggle and wobble in the right foot. Don't worry about it. We all do it. So let's release it over into the fold again. This time here, we'll step ourselves back to down dog. And then just for a little moment, go ahead and drop down to the knees and sit back in child's pose. So nice big breaths here. If you feel like you want your hands back by your heels, you can certainly go there.
go ahead and stretch your arms out long in front again. And we're gonna slide forward out onto the belly. Dangerous. So from here, all we're gonna do is make some quick dogs. Roll yourself over onto your left side. So you want to find a place where your body is as if you were upright, right? So you wouldn't walk around with your shoulders forward and your bum back and your knees back, right? So try and find the alignment of your standing position here on your left side, and it's really awkward and weird. So if it doesn't feel awkward and weird, it's probably wrong. So you can prop your head with your forearm like I am. You can prop up with the hand if that feels better. You find where it works. Right? So the more we act as if we're standing, the easier and more stable this becomes. So the legs are strong, the feet are flexed, the belly's in. Right? And you still may wobble a little bit, that is normal. Your left side of the body is not flat. Right? So let's release that. Come on back to the belly, roll over to your right side and do the exact same thing there. Right? So find the alignment. Work as well until you are as if you were standing up, hopping, or whatever you have to do here to make it work. And just really activate the muscles. Feeling a little bit of wobble, a little bit of instability. And just coming back to center again. So we're going to add on with that because of course. So let's go back to the left side. Find that position for your body. So this eventually will become really familiar to you and you won't even have to think about it. Well, you know. Right? So from here, let's go ahead and take, let's take the right foot in front of the body. So we're going to have the toes point down to the right, just like we did when we were in that modified side plank earlier. Same kind of idea. So the toes are going to point to the right side of the mat here as much as you can. Let your knee open toward the back of the mat. So I'm feeling this nice little stretch in the hip. And then if you want to get all fancy, you don't have to. You can certainly bring this foot in as if you were in tree position. So a couple of options, finding a nice little stretch in that hip. And you did something similar to this last week, I think. Anyway. Take the right index and middle fingers, reach down for your right big toe. You can reach down, right? But if you throw your alignment off, you have to make sure you fix that again, of course. And not to be outdone. So you can absolutely stay here with the knee bent. This does work, yeah? Or you can extend this right leg. So the stronger you keep your left leg, the stronger you keep the rest of your body, the easier it all is. Let's release whatever you have here. And we're going to roll back over to the belly again. Let's go to the second side. So same thing, right? Work until you find the alignment of your body. Make sure you feel stable here because again, it just gets crazier from here. And you decide where to start. So maybe the left foot just in front of the thigh here with the toes turning forward, right? Or to the left, I suppose, however your brain sees this. And the knee opens up toward the ceiling. So that's a nice little stretch. If you'd like, that foot comes to the inside of the right leg. You don't have to worry too much about the knee in this position. Because we're not really standing on it, we're not really putting pressure on it. And then the knee is pointing more toward the ceiling here, so you're feeling that openness in the hip. If you want left index and middle fingers, wrap around that big toe
And the leg goes straighter, and it doesn't even have to be completely straight, right? Feel the wobble. Try and find the alignment of the body. Feel the inner hip stretch. And then we'll bring it back down again and roll back over onto the belly. So now that we've done that laying on the floor, we're going to see if we can make our way up off the floor a little bit. So let's take the hands next to the side ribs. We're going to push up and back into our down dog. And this is the side plank variation that we did at the very beginning. And that's where we're going to add on to maybe, right? So just for alignment, shift forward into a plank, make sure your hands and feet are far enough apart, and then lift your hips back to your down dog. Step the right foot halfway up, left toes turn out, roll to the outside edge of the left foot. So again, you're finding the alignment of the body just like we did when we were laying on the side, right? And it can stay here. The knee is open, the hip is stretching, right? What if you could lean nice and firm, lean less into your right foot and maybe lift it up off the floor, bringing the right foot to the inside of the left leg. So here you may want to avoid the knee, right? So you don't put any pressure on it and move in a weird direction. If you really want to get fancy, you can reach down for your big toe and extend your big toe, just like we did on the belly. Piece of cake, right? Are you breathing? Let's release that. Come on back into our down dog. And then that second side, we know where we're going, so modify as appropriate. And just because it happened on one side doesn't mean it's going to happen on the other, or maybe vice versa. So the left foot halfway up, roll to the outside of the right foot. So the right hand is happy, the belly is in, the body is aligned. That's the most important piece, right? So maybe the knee stays on, or the foot stays on the floor, the knee is open out to the side. If you want to play with it, lifting that left foot up, bringing it to the inside of the right leg. Reaching down for the big toe, getting all fancy if you want to here. And then we're going to release that, coming back to our down dog. Drop on down to the knees, and we'll sit back into our child's pose again. And maybe here, if you want your hands back by your heels so your shoulders get a nice little rest, feel free to take that option. Let's go sit up on the heels. And we'll take a leg out front. Extend the legs out nice and long. And sit well. So the body looks as if you were standing up, only bent in half, right? Feet are flexed, legs are active, belly's active, sitting tall. Let's reach the arms up. Hinging from the hip, take yourself forward, find a fold. So don't worry about touching your toes. Keep your chest open and lifted. We worked pretty hard to lead with the chest earlier, so try not to lose that. Let's take another big breath. With an inhale, we're coming back up again. And then release the arms. So let's take the right foot and step it across the left leg. So that foot can be flat. We want that foot flat to the floor. It can be down by your ankle more or up by your hip more, wherever that happens for you. So the pelvis is upright, the spine is tall, and that foot is flat to the floor. If it doesn't happen that way, it can totally be on the inside of the foot. It's not super vital, right? So let's see about bending the left knee and bringing that heel in front of the right sit bone.
And it might not be precisely there, right? But we still want all of the rest of that stuff to happen. So upright on the pelvis, tall through the spine, the right foot flat to the foot. If that works, it does. If you need to take the left leg straight again, take it straight. Wrap your left arm around the leg. Take your right arm behind the back. Press into that right hand like we did earlier. Pull with the left arm and rotate around into your twist here. So big full breaths. You can look over the right shoulder if you like. And then we'll release that, coming back to center. Release the limbs. And then let's switch sides. So stepping the left over the right. Again, maybe on the inside. Maybe the right leg stays straight. Maybe you bend. So just making sure that you have all those pieces. And as long as you do, take the right arm and wrap around the leg, the left hand behind the back, winding around into the twist on this side. Let's release and come back to the middle. Unhook your legs. And then we're going to take the feet flat to the floor. Sorry, Wiley. Wardrobe adjustment. So the feet are flat to the floor, 90-degree-ish bend in the knees. Right. The hands about a handprint behind the hips here. Fingers point toward the body unless that's too much for the shoulders. So draw the shoulder blades together on the back and feel your chest open and lift. Keep that idea. Pull the heels toward the hips. Lift the hips up off the floor. So tucking your tailbone toward the knees. Keep the neck nice and neutral here. Stop. So taking a breath, I haven't forgotten about your comments. Go ahead and drop the hips back down to the floor. So you can take that variation again, of course, right? You can skip it, of course, because no one's watching. But maybe you take the legs straighter, right? So not completely straight. We need to have a little bit of space to move, of course. We're going to touch this time. Same idea with the hands, though. They're about a handprint behind the glutes. We draw the shoulder blades toward each other, lifting the chest toward the ceiling, and then maybe pulling the heels toward the hips to lift the hips up off the floor. I like this variation because the hips don't have as high to go, but it doesn't necessarily make it any easier. So the more the shoulders draw together and the chest can lift, the more the belly works to protect the back, the better everything is. And you can even take your feet flat to the floor in this position if that's you. One more breath. And then release that. All right. So feet flat or legs extended, entirely up to you this time. Take your hands and turn the fingers around to point behind. And we're going to walk the hands back. So keep a little baby bend in the elbows, especially if you are a hyperextender. And you just take them back to where they'll go. If you feel like it starts to get easy, your hands might be open a little wide. So play with that if you need to change that. And just feel that nice stretch through the arms. We'll walk the hands back in. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together here. Heels draw toward the ground. We're going to use the elbows at the inner hips, press down with the elbows, and hinging the belly button toward the heels. Come forward and stretch that inner hip.
Take another big breath. And then hinge back up again. Hang on and lean back just enough to balance. So keep your chest open and lifted. Let your legs be heavy. So use your belly a little less. And the only reason your feet don't come to the floor is because your arms are too short. Okay? You get what I mean, right? So keeping the chest lifted, it really gives you this nice stretch up the sides of the neck, down across the shoulders, maybe even into your arms a little bit. You're feeling that? And then engage your belly again. Sit really tall here. And if you can, without releasing your feet to the floor, take your index and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. So balancing here. It doesn't have to get super fancy, but see if you can take your right leg straighter. Just like before, it does not have to be completely straight. Feel the shift of the weight. Make sure you're breathing here. And then bring it back and switch sides. So take your time, straight or not so much, wide or not so much. Chest is lifted so you don't roll back. We're gonna come back center and then do them both. Right? So both legs extended, lifting the chest. Try to use your belly more than your arms, of course. Otherwise it feels like you're gonna pull your big toe off. And then, regardless of whether your legs are straight or bent, bring them together. So keep the chest lifting, the belly working like crazy here, and let go. So maybe bent, right? Maybe straight. Bring the soles back together, hang onto your ankles again. And then just go ahead and release that for a second. We're about to go down on the mat. So if you do have props, bring them so that they're accessible to you once you get to the floor, and position yourself so that you actually have a mat. So let's roll on down to the back. And we're just gonna hug the knees into the chest and rock a little bit here. We'll bring the feet flat to the floor. And then let's cross the left ankle over the right knee. Reaching back behind the left thigh, or at least the fingers here. Draw the right leg in towards your chest. And you can use the left elbow to press the left knee away, or the left leg away, really, as you do that. And notice how when you draw in, the pelvis kind of wants to round up off the floor, and the tailbone is sort of pointing up toward the ceiling. Maybe not that extreme, but you get the idea. Keep the feet flexed, keep the arms pulling toward the body, and now push the leg back into the hands and see if you can feel your tailbone rotate so that it's pointing more toward the floor than the ceiling. And of course, it's not going to point directly at the floor, but you get the idea. So the pelvis is neutral, and your right knee is in towards your chest. And you're breathing. And then we're going to release that, taking both feet flat to the floor. Switch sides. So right ankle over left knee, reaching back behind the left thigh. Pressing the right leg away a little bit or a lot, depending on how much stretch you want in that hip again. Pulling the left leg in toward the chest. And for a second, allow the pelvis to do what it does and just notice. And maybe you round up a whole bunch and maybe you barely do. But you want to be aware of what your body wants to do, so that then you can adjust, right? So the arms keep pulling in, but the leg pushes back away to find that neutral place. Let's take another nice big breath. And then release both feet flat to the floor again. So here, if you do have a prop, we're going to take it, and whatever the goal is, roll it or lay it across your mat. Does that feel like horizontal to you? Feels like horizontal to me, but whatever word works for you. So that it's across the mat, roughly a quarter to a third from the top of your mat there, or where your head is at this point in the game. And then we want to lay across it with the roll or whatever you have here at the bottom edges of your shoulder blades. So it's not up underneath your neck. If it's too high or too low, you can make those adjustments, right? Roll your blanket or your towel or your mat or whatever you have. If you have a really big hard roll, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of adjusting other than maybe propping your head up, right? So work with what you got. And if you don't really have anything, you can always just lay with your arms open so that your chest is open. That's the idea with this, is just to rest back and let the chest really open, right? Just using gravity, popping as much or as little as you like. And the more open the arms are, the palms turn face up, the more of that opening you're going to get in the front of the shoulder. So play with that. And if you want more, you can take your legs straighter. You can bring your arms up overhead even, right? If that's feeling like it's the right place for you. And like with everything, play with it. What feels good? Where is too far? Let's take another nice big breath. And then we're gently going to unprop. Take your time getting there, especially if you went for a really big stretch. Take a second just laying flat on the floor. And as good as it feels to open, sometimes it's even better to find neutral. Gently drawing the knees back in. Let yourself rock again. And then we're going to take this final twist. So opening the arms out into a T position, you can bend at the elbows and take cactus if that's better for you. And then do what you need to do for your twist. So maybe you want the knees a little closer to the body and then just letting them fall to the side. Maybe you want to take your feet flat, shift your hips. You can absolutely cross your legs, all kinds of fancy stuff. So start to the right. And whatever, letting these move to the right. And whatever variations you want here, whatever feels good for your body, take that. Take nice big breaths here. And then gently bring yourself back to center and take your second side. So the same, whatever variation you did on the one side, do that on the other side. Big full breaths wherever you are. And then let's gently make our way back up to the middle again. So you can bring the knees back to the chest, give yourself a nice squeeze, a little rock again here if you feel like that's what you want. And then take yourself into a full body stretch, get really long again, and release the stretch. Let your body come to a comfortable place. So again, propping if you want to prop. If you want to use that passive chest opener here, you're welcome to do that. Making sure your body is going to be comfortable for a few minutes of just resting. So whatever you need for that to happen. And once you've found that place, allow the body to just, again, sink into it, rest. There's nothing more left to do, at least for the next few minutes. You don't even have to control your breath, let it do what it does. Let your mind rest. The mind always wants to do. See if you can just keep it quiet. And if a random thought wanders in, let it wander right back out. Staying present. Just relaxing for a few minutes longer. Begin to gently deepen your breath. Allow your body to wiggle and stretch. When you're ready, bring your feet flat to the floor. Gently make your way back up to seated. Sitting well and tall here. Let's bring the palms to touch. Drawing your head to your heart. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Thanks for playing, you guys, and sorry again for the chaos. And maybe someday it will be super zen. We have those days, I shouldn't say it like that. But thanks for joining me this morning. If you have feedback, if you have requests, I'm trying to upgrade my technology a little bit, so we may be playing with a few things. Certainly check the website because that's where I'm going to start with that little upgrade. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, have a great day, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Dina.